The winter season has aired all its debut episodes, and one of the most talked about shows is The Promised Neverland, a highly anticipated and faithful adaptation of a popular Shonen Jump horror manga. Wait, should I have said horror? As you'll know from everyone and their dog who's familiar with the source material telling you to watch it before looking anything up, The Promised Neverland is one of those shows with a major twist in episode 1, to the point where even the genre is kind of a spoiler. And it's received a lot of buzz because of that, much like last season's Zombie Land Saga, which sold itself as a horror with its plot unannounced until we realized it was a heartfelt and sometimes biting idle comedy. It becomes hard to describe these shows without ruining the experience of watching episode 1, but at the same time, twists like these actually often do draw in a lot of viewers who hear what the show is really about and become interested. With that in mind here, I'll be going through a few other shows where the first episode has a big surprise twist and how they pull it off. Spoilers for all these shows ahead, although I'll mostly keep it to those first episodes. Some series have more minor premise twists that sort of count, but don't hit as hard as the ones I mentioned. For instance, it's a surprise in My Hero Academia that All Might isn't buffed 24/7 and is losing his powers, and Deku only gets them in the first place because it turns out it's possible to pass them on. But we still know from the get-go that it's a shonen battle series and that the premise of the story is that Deku gets superpowers and goes to school to learn how to use them professionally. Contrast that with The Promised Neverland, where no one has an idea what the show is going to be about, and it looks like a peaceful time until you're face-to-face with Child Corpse. Another show where we still know the genre is Soko no Strain, or Strain Strategic Armored Infantry, which never hid that it was a real-type mecha series, but definitely hid the rest of its plot, so it's a much bigger example than Hiroaka. You might not have heard of this one, but Strain was one of the first series on Funimation Now, or legal anime streaming at all for that matter. It starts in space Victorian England, Grobera, with its main character Sarah, a bright and popular student with caring friends and a brother who's a war hero, and she's just about to graduate and go off to meet him in space. If you've heard that the show is very loosely based on a little princess, you'll probably figure that something bad is about to happen, but you still won't expect that there's a little alien girl hidden in the basement and that Sarah's brothers come back to find said girl, and he's a little more murdery than before. Sarah is the only survivor after her brother kills the entire school, and the rest of the show has her fake her death, transfer to another school under a false identity, and crawl up the ranks from the bottom, dealing with trauma, bullying, and wondering how this could have happened. It didn't generate a lot of hype because it ran opposite Code Geass, and I guess we can only have one successful mecha show a season, but it is a strong example of a twist in episode 1 that you wouldn't expect and that sends the rest of the show on a different track. A really well-known example from a few years back is School Live, an adorable school club series about a bunch of girls who live in and never leave their school. You might think that's kind of weird, but hey, why not? And a lot of unsettling details get brushed off by first-time viewers as just quirks to make the moe girls stand out more. But there's a reason for the shovel, the military rations, and the desk barricades. We learn at the end of the first episode that one of the girls just sees the world as it used to be, and they've actually been in the school alone for about a year, insulating themselves from the zombie infestation that's hit the rest of the world. That's not the only big twist in School Live by a long shot, and the rest of the series sets them up very well, and a big part of that is that, unlike the rest of the shows here, it's still as much a heartfelt moe school club show as it is an unsettling horror. The dual tone and the shock of the episode 1 spoiler work well with the theme of the show that, even in a bad situation, there's still room to be happy. Now, if they'd only just make season 2 already, they faked us out enough times and I want to see the rest of the manga get adapted. Older series have this too, of course. I brought Princess Tutu up a few times before, and it starts with the protagonist insisting that she's a human, but as the clues pile up, she finally realizes that she's a magically transformed duck. But it's gotten more common as of late to have stories set up a major twist in the first episode that completely changes the direction of the show. It's not always effective. This season's Pastel Memories fails because the twist came out of nowhere and the first part of the episode is just a bunch of girls walking around waiting for the plot to start. But when it is, it can make for an effective story and sometimes, but not always, generate a lot of hype. Let me know in the comments what your favorite series is that employs the episode 1 twist. This is Secret Identity Studio, and I still want the rest of the School Live manga adapted.